Mark Wayner here with Champions Real Estate Team here at Berkshire Hathaway Home Service Ambassador Real Estate Company. Joining me today is Russ Williams with Williams Mortgage. He'll talk about the mortgage stuff, what's going on that side. But first, let's jump into our quick tip. Quick tip today is, how do we price homes when we're looking at your home to get it on the market? What do we look at? So I'll try to make this as a quick tip as possible because there's a lot of data that goes into it. So most people think we look at comparables, which we do. Huge part of it. Take a look at what the other houses have. What have they sold for? What updates do they have? What deferred maintenance items have they had? But one thing I talk to my clients about is that, they bring up and, hey, I got new windows and they have, great landscaping and things like that. Some things make things more marketable and some things make it more valuable. So I think those are two key factors that you got to take into account of what is make your house more marketable. To the largest amount of buyers, people want to buy that house, may not, go dollar for dollar as far as, you put $20,000 of landscaping in. We don't add $20,000 onto that purchase price or that sale price of that house. And so those are those things, working with an agent here on Champions Real Estate Team that we're educated on what brings that value and what brings that marketability. And ultimately, those two have to work together, to maximize that dollar amount for your house. So those things that we will go into more in depth in our coaching sessions with you, whether you're buying or selling. And that side, like I said, deferred maintenance items are also another thing. Is this that deferred maintenance means you're just kicking that, you're deferring that maintenance onto the next person. So you don't, that buyer's not going to give you, if you don't have new windows and the windows are rotted out, they're not going to give you a top dollar for that house, and you might not see dollar for dollar. If you put $80,000 of windows in, you can't get necessarily $80,000 back out of it. So that's kind of our quick tip here. So let's jump into what's gone on the real estate market. Let me share our screen here, get the data pulled up for you. All right, this pulls up here. So, like I said, holiday weekend, we had 570 new listings go live over the last 7 days. That's down from 681 that we had last week. So that's very typical holiday weekend. People are out barbecuing, going to the lakes and things like that, and not necessarily thinking about putting their house on the market on a holiday weekend. And then we had 315 new contracts written. So congratulations to those buyers that got new homes and 500 happy new homeowners that closed on their homes. So like I said, that one of our buyers here at Champions Real Estate Team did get a house under contract this weekend, and it's one of those too that you're out there looking when maybe not all of the people are looking, and so you take in account getting that opportunity set. So I think we got ours accepted actually on the 4th of July. So so congratulations to our clients there. I'm excited for them. But like I said, the holiday weekend, what we typically see coming in as far as months of inventory, that obviously went up because we didn't have as many contracts written. So we had more houses come on than we did go off. So that's why that number jumps up. So this will probably go back down next week, probably around, 3.0. So right now it says that we're in a neutral market. Yes and no. As far as that goes, as far as buyers out there. And then the big talking points here. So obviously that created a little bit more breathing room for your buyers out there this week and maybe for this, little bit here now. And what I've seen over my 18 years, and maybe Russ has seen the same thing, is, the time frame between 4th of July and kind of when school starts, we see a lot of families, those buyers, going out taking family vacations. Like my family, we're going to the Black Hills next week. So we'll be gone for a week. And so there's a lot of families that are doing that. Hey, let's cram a lot of things in because, a lot of sports just got done. I saw like the little leagues are getting done, softball's done, soccer, those type other, sports and stuff. And so families are going out and enjoying that family time before school starts. So we see just a little bit of a lull, kind of in the market over historically. Last couple of years, it's just been constant craziness with multiple offers. But I think we're kind of getting more back to a normal market as normal as we can. And then once school starts, people get in their routines, and then buyers start coming back into the marketplace a little bit. But it's still a great time to buy and sell and get out there. But so for buyers, obviously inventory moved a little higher this week. Obviously, opportunities may exist out there that those homes have sat a little bit. You can get jump on those. So same thing on the flip side, scouting report on the sellers. Obviously this week was seasonal. Obviously having a strategy, getting in contact with us, going down on a listing appointment this afternoon, down to Lincoln. Talk to those sellers kind of about what's the game plan. And that's what we have to do. When do we get the house on the market? Give them a big picture, get them a playbook, and figure out what plays we want to run. Here's the scouting report, what the buyers are doing, on that side. And so on the seller side, don't panic. If you didn't have a lot of showings this weekend, very uncommon or very common, with the holiday weekend there. So, but yeah, So I guess we'll jump in here with Russ. I know we had some news on the Middle East and stuff like that that may affect our market. So I guess Russ, what are we seeing on that side? I know we talked a little bit before we jumped on here, but what can we share with our viewers here?
Yeah, the important thing we need to know when we're discussing mortgage rates is that they are very sensitive to inflation. I got to spit that out, Mark. And the reason why that's important is it appears that we've seen the ceasefire break down in the Middle East. That memorandum of understanding apparently isn't being honored. There were, I think, 3 ships that were fired upon. And as a result of that, just over the last 2 days, we've seen both Brent oil and WTI, which is West Texas Intermediate crude oil, jump from under $70 a barrel to now Brent crude is just under $80 a barrel. So what that does is the market see that as an inflationary signal, and that again is it's since that's an enemy of mortgage rates, that puts pressure upwards on mortgage rates. Does that mean they're going to rise wholesale? No. That doesn't mean they're going to jump from the mid sixes to 8%. But the longer that this lasts, the less likely and the less confident the market will be that mortgage rates will be coming down. And so that's what we want to watch closely. Having said that, though, rates are back to about where they were June of this year. So we're maybe the highest rates we've seen in 30 days is basically what we're looking at. So maybe an eighth higher than what they were this time last week. Um, the important thing to know is that what this oftentimes does is it causes some people to get cautious and nervous and become go to the sidelines. So this is the time that you want to get out there and buy a house. Why? This won't last forever. Eventually, this is going to end up in some sort of a peaceful agreement, whether it's next week, next month, next year. But you want to buy the home at today's price. Mark, I think you'd agree that we've seen a lot of multiple offer situations, and if we have fewer in the buyers in those multiple offer situations, you have a better chance of not only winning the bid but getting the concessions you want. So take this as an opportunity. Yes, we don't like the fact that rates are up just a little bit. It's nothing to panic about, but this is an opportunity. So get out there, get in touch with Mark and his team, and put that game plan together.
Yeah, and I know, like you said, just type even type of financing now when there's less buyers out there. One of my clients used the VA loan, which is government loan, VA and FHA. They have similar, issues, as far as having appraisals if there's any repairs that need and if need to be to obtain that financing. But the sellers, we wrote a really strong offer, and again, my goal with any of my clients is to get them a seat at the table with the sellers, and ultimately that's what happened. We had multiple offers. The agent called and said, "Hey, Mark, we love your offer. Here's some items that we're looking at. What's your client think? What's my buyer think? All right, went back to my buyer. Here, what are your thoughts? Great, let's do it, type of thing. And so that's the thing. My client had the opportunity to say yes or no, and that's the goal, and had there been 10 offers on the house, maybe we might not even been able to get a seat at the table in that situation. And so that's just the stories that we see out here from a, the on the ground, what's going on, and like I said, it's, I just want to be part of the process and give you that information. So, the best time to buy a house is when you are ready. Not when the rates or the market or the prices or that. It's when you are financially ready, mentally, emotionally to do that. And with my client, we talk through the numbers. Hey Mark, here's what my take home is. Here's what my mortgage is going to be. What are your thoughts? And ultimately personal finances are personal, and and that's ultimately my goal, is to give them as much information. The same thing with Russ, is give them as much information so they can sit down, whether that's on a spreadsheet with their spouse, with their partner, whatever that is, as an investor, get the spreadsheets out, and do the numbers make sense, and is now the right time? Great. If not, then let's wait. Or if it is, let's go out there and get after it. So that's the fun part about the real estate side from my perspective of having been an athletics coach for umpteen years. Now I'm coaching the younger kids, was coaching high school kids before I had kids, and now I'm always coaching my clients, and that's the fun part. It's like you can coach them, and get them that information and let them be confident in the decisions that they're making, and not going, oh my gosh. It's like, oh my, what's your pillow number? How much should I pay for this? Well, when you put your head on the pillow at night, are you comfortable with that? And so those are those things that you have to have those conversations with your clients. And if you're not working with an agent that's doing that, maybe, reconsider what their motives are to get you into that house. And because I want to be your real estate resource for as long as I can be in that process. So Whether that's buying your primary house or turning that house into an investment. And that's what we're talking about with my clients is, hey, can we house hack it? Can we do this? Can we do that? And, gosh, I never thought about that. What is that? Okay, well, let's talk about it. Like, let's pull the plays out of the playbook and figure out if it makes sense. If it does, awesome. If not, let's just buy a house, live in it, pay the mortgage, 30 years, great. So whatever that process is. So anyways, got off a little tangent there, but as you can see, we love what we do here. But if we can help you out in any way, shape, or form, like I said, I'll be out of town next week, so I'll try to jump on and do a video if I can. It's supposed to be like 105 degrees up in South Dakota, so hopefully my computer doesn't melt. Just got to make sure I don't leave it in the car. Anyways, awesome. Well, I appreciate